Hello everyone, this will be the first tutorial on working with the curve work add-on. I will focus on beginners and try to be more detailed. This add-on has an N panel, and in the T panel there is a button to activate the top simplified panel of the add-on. When you select a curve, or while in curve editing mode, you will have additional buttons designed to work in editing mode. I have divided the panels to make it easier for you to understand what the functions will work on. The top panel completely duplicates N panel so that you can use other add-ons in N panel. This add-on is designed to work in combination with my other add-ons. Let's start in order. First, I brought you the menu for adding curves. If you have much fewer curves, then you need to activate the default add-ons extra object. This is a button to convert a curve to a mesh, and a mesh to a curve. If you have a large number of points, you can adjust them when it is a curve. Individual curves located in one curve object are called splines. In object mode, you adjust the number of points on all splines. In editing mode, you can adjust the number of points on the active spline. When converting back from mesh to curve, your splines have become pulley. You need to switch them back to Bezier. There are types of splines: Bezier, pulley, NURBS. I will label panels for working with each type of spline. At the moment there is a panel only for Bezier spline, so keep that in mind when working. And also perhaps if you want to convert from NURBS to Bezier, you will have to convert to pulley in between. Each curve object has a 2D mode and a 3D mode. When switching from one mode to another relative to this axis, the curve will be projected into the plane. All functions when working with a curve use the 2D mode when pressing automatically. I also added a button for filling curves for convenience. In 3-dimensional mode it fills curve profiles, in 2-dimensional mode it fills a flat shape. The first function is boolean operations on curves. Let's create more objects. Firstly, when performing boolean operations in object mode, each object must have only one spline. For this, I made a button that will separate all splines from the curve object. There must be at least 2 objects and one of them must be active. If you do this on a large number of objects at once, then all of them must intersect with the active object. The difference operation has an invert button, which swaps the cutting object with the cut object. If you want to use the intersect operation on a large number of objects, then they all must intersect with the active one and with each other. When inverting difference, you will get 3 objects with a cutout part. And here comes the intersect. It is very important that the intersection occurs to give only one point. That's right. Segments should not overlap each other. Be careful. There must be precise intersections to create points. I also added a function to set a point to the center of the geometry. It's more convenient. One more thing, if the curves are not straight, they will be projected onto the active object. There is no need to align them. Let me remind you once again that you can do this in object mode. You need to split splines. In editing mode, the boolean works between two selected splines. It is enough to select 1 point each on the desired splines. In edit mode, you can only use between two splines, however you can split and use several at the same time. Another point is that in the case of a union and an intersect, you can do this, but in the case of a difference, the active object cannot be cut in half. There should be only one final spline. If you do not apply a scale when expanding an object, then you will get an interesting effect. If you do not need it, then apply the scale. Look in the mirror. I have built the origin control into the mirror and into the circular array for your convenience. With it, you can control the distance of the mirror. I have built in a function to connect the nearest edge points. You can use it in real time. Apply checkbox. Apply the mirror and combine into one object. If you do not apply and do not connect the dots, then you will get a mirror of curves in real time. To apply a mirror, there is an Apply button. Just select one of the mirror objects. While you are in mirror mode, you can do bevel and so on. Also, if you notice, then at the bottom you have buttons for combining curves, or vice versa for removing a mirror. A regular array, it's quite simple. You have an offset and a quantity. You also have to apply it as a mirror, and you can also edit it as a mirror if you don't want to apply it. Circular array, it's more interesting with it. You have control over the origin, over the quantity, and also the connection of the edge points. You can also disable auto angle and set the angle manually. Let's quickly make some form. If you have many points, there is a function dissolve selected points. Now you have nothing extra. Now I'll show you the offset. You can do this in object mode or in edit mode by selecting the active spline. Corner points, depending on the direction in which the offset occurs, will be subdivided. When the points overlap, a merge will occur. This angle is responsible for the division. The smaller the angle, the more often dots will be placed. You can also control the number of offsets. You can also use dissolve by selecting the entire spline and control the number of dissolved points. I have already talked about the function of connecting points within the framework of other functions. I have already talked about this. Now we will touch on it separately. It connects the nearest points of open splines with each other. If there is one spline, then it closes it. A function that separates splines into separate objects. Curve cleaning function. It checks all curve objects for the presence of single points, for the presence of double vertices and empty curves. Double vertices that you could create due to accidental extrude. You can create empty curves if an object is deleted in edit mode. It also allows you to connect the nearest points. You can control the connection distance in the bottom pop-up panel. We'll see you about the rest of the panels and functions in the next video. I tried to be more detailed. I will be glad of your support.